Welcome back to From the Tomb with Cadoom. I am your host, Cadoom, and tonight we have a little different episode for you to finish off this Triangle Files finale. Tonight we start escaping the tomb. A phrase you've heard, but you might not quite understand, because it can mean something different to so many people. But to Cadoomed, to Cadoom, to Lucas, it has a significance that needs to be shared. Tonight isn't about an attention-grabbing case or analyzing a system of events that designate an area. Tonight is about the philosophy of Cadoomed, the mentality of Lucas, the way things are meant to be in the future. Today is the last day of Phase 1. Soon, within weeks, Phase 2 will be completely ready. You see, before From the Tomb started, Cadoomed had already been in planning for months, years really. In 2023, I started the product line. Then, things changed. I had to develop a plan. I had a necessity that needed to be filled. First, I started building in my mind. What do I love? What do I enjoy? What can I focus on to get me out of this situation? To escape my tomb. In December, From the Tomb was starting to be born. The backstory of Reels started. Then in February, Valentine's Day, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre episode started things off. But From the Tomb isn't the ultimate destination. From the Tomb was the starting point. From the Tomb covered my interests: paranormal, mysteries, crime, conspiracies. But it was never the destination. There was always more being developed behind the scenes. Then we got into the Triangle Files, and something about Cadoomed started to reveal itself and be confirmed inside the Triangle Files themselves, because there are pillars and missions and guidelines for Cadoomed, and all of those were being found in the different files themselves. And this all tied together because I already knew, not every detail, not every project, but I knew I wanted to build something larger than one podcast. Something that encouraged curiosity, created opportunity, recognized creativity, and left something meaningful behind. But you can't build an ecosystem overnight. You can only build it one piece at a time. So I asked myself, what can I do today that I'll always love to do, and even if it doesn't work the way I plan, I can continue no matter what? And that's how From the Tomb was born. I thought it was going to be just digital, intriguing, informational style podcasting. I didn't realize I was testing out my full philosophy. But how do geographical mystery triangles prove a philosophy in a small southeastern Michigan town? Well, like I said earlier, my brand is built on 7 pillars. Cadoomed relies on 7 pillars: authenticity, respect, accountability, growth, creativity, opportunity, and legacy. On the surface, everybody knows what these are, but at Cadoomed, I have a little bit different take on it. Twisted, you might say. But how do those tie into the files themselves, you may ask? Well, authenticity, even just doing the podcast, being myself, being who I am, going out and finding the real, authentic information, using Freedom of Information Act requests and getting real information. It doesn't get more authentic or transparent than that. And respect, we all know, is foundational to everything. Without respect, no growth can happen. And in the terms of the triangles, every victim mattered. Every community mattered. I was trying to support them and shine lights on their issues, not to exploit them, but to benefit them, to memorialize the events and cases and situations their communities had to deal with. Creativity fits in because you can't turn ideas into impact without it. Most of these stories I've told have been told before so far. That'll be different for phase 2. But for now, I had to find a way to keep people interested. I had to be creative, but still be respectful and authentic and accountable, and the rest of the 7 pillars. Because creativity is more than imagination. It's how we build. It's how we leave a mark. Opportunities. One thing I've always tried to do throughout From the Tomb, not even just the Triangle Files, the whole podcast, is spark new conversation. Open your eyes to new ideas, new people, new places, new possibilities, to bring everybody into a place of curiosity. So maybe we might all be able to understand each other a little better. Because opportunity is access, not luck. We have to put in the work for ourselves and for our others to be able to build together and get society back to a place where we can all be united again. And that leads us to accountability, because I believe without accountability, you can't have any of the other pillars. There's no excuses. There's no blame. Accountability is the key that unlocks every door. Your choices, your actions, your results. We don't point fingers. We don't blame others. We take our own responsibility. That's how we break free. That's how we escape the tomb. That's how I could present to you my correcting mistakes, my learning, my advancement, the times things get rough, when life gets in the way, when things get delayed. Just like today. This episode in my mind, when it started, was very, very different. But it developed because I had to hold myself accountable for the way my life is, and the way my podcast works, and the way my structure is developed since. Which leads us into growth, because that's the key to all of this. That's what all of this is for. You've seen it in the podcast because I hope you saw mostly every episode improve. I know there was a couple rough spots we had, but again, accountability. I'm learning. I'm doing it all independently. It's hard at first. It becomes easier over time, but then you add more and more and more to make it better and better for the audience. Because growth is choosing progress over comfort. It's the only way to truly escape your tomb. To decide that you're not okay with being in it anymore. Which brings us to the final pillar, legacy. Most people look at this very, very differently than me. Because I don't think legacy is what you achieve or what you have. It's what you leave behind. Preserving stories that deserve to be remembered. Recognizing people that deserve to be recognized. It's about the impact you make, the lives you touch, and the examples you set after you're gone. But at Cadoomed, it can be whatever you want. Nothing is forced. Nothing is pressured. You can be a viewer. You can buy merchandise. You can get involved in the new aspects when they come out. Whatever you do is up to you. I'm just presenting you a pathway and opportunities and chances to build your own legacy and escape your tomb, just like I am trying to do with mine. Once I realized all 7 of those were the foundation of not just Cadoomed, but the Triangle files themselves, I realized I hadn't just built a good podcast like I wanted to. I had also proven the foundation for everything I intend to build everything else on. Because we all have a tomb. They all just look differently. We all have different experiences inside them. We all have different ways to get out of them. I don't plan on exploiting people or taking advantage of situations. I've been in enough situations of my own that I wouldn't do that. That's why nothing's forced. That's why nothing's really pressured. The opportunities will be there. The chances will be there. Everything will be there as we roll out the future. Phase 2 of From the Tomb and Cadoomed. Before we can look at what the future holds, we have to look at why. We have to look at why I'm here, why I'm doing this, why I'm building this ecosystem of opportunity. You see, everyone has a tomb. And my version of a tomb is anything that keeps you from becoming who you were meant to be. Fear, complacency, bad environments, dead-end circles. They're all versions of your tomb. They convince you that your potential is buried. They whisper that change is too hard, that you're not enough, and that it's too late. But the truth is, the door was never locked. The walls are accepted as permanent. The pressure was mistook for prison. We stay inside long enough to believe the lie. That lie is that we are stuck. The 7 pillars are the foundation on how to escape your tomb. Because we are not doomed. We are Cadoomed. And the goal is unity and inclusion and escaping tombs for everyone. The purpose isn't just to preserve the past and the legacy, it's to create a future worth preserving. That legacy is being recorded so it can be passed down, and the opportunities are being provided so everybody has an equal chance. I'm not asking you all to get super involved with the future, which we're about to talk about, but I can say the more involved you get, whether that be as a supporter, a creator, storyteller, protector, or connector, whatever your role is, you're building something eternal. The legacy is built by people who care enough to act, and that is you, the supporters. We're not just fans of each other. We're not just helping each other. We're a simulated family. The Cadoomed family. Because every role matters. They aren't small roles. Only essential ones. They all count. So now we look at what is coming, and we start with what is already here. From the tomb. What changes? The video style, first of all. The inconsistencies. And on top of that, the content style itself. You see, there will still be analytical episodes and static files and triangle files. But we're going to start focusing on something a little different most of the time. I'm calling it Wake Up Society. We're going to reference some pop culture, movies, books, TV, music, video games, etc. And we're going to see what we're doing in the real world that might just not make sense to be doing with the guidelines that show us not to. We're also going to be looking at a second podcast. It's going to be an interview style podcast, and it's going to be more about inclusion, making everybody feel like their interests aren't invalid. Their interests aren't weird. The first segment of that podcast, the artist, the guest, whoever it may be a criminal, a business person, a musical guest, an actor, an athlete, who knows? Anybody that might have a weird interest in a success story that interest didn't hold them back with. We're working on different expansions through Cadoo's Customs, which has been around even longer than Cadoomed. And that is our way to turn ideas into art we can wear or use or tools we can make. Because at Cadoo's Customs, we turn creativity into identity and let you wear or utilize the legacy. And we'll always continue building the future. The new projects open new doors that spark new ideas and allow us to meet new people and present new opportunities. As long as we never stop building, the future is ours. Different paths, same destination, one ecosystem, one legacy, built to last, built to grow, but not just for myself. This isn't just a materialistic, I want to be successful. This is me wanting to keep people from being as deep in their tomb as I got at one point in my life. This is me trying to help people get their opportunities that I could never have. This is me telling you, I won't let my past define my future. I will seek growth over comfort. I'll create more than I consume. I'll leave anybody that wants to be involved better than how they got here. And I will continue to build when building is hard. And it'd be greatly appreciated if you all could too. Because once again, we aren't doomed. We are Cadoomed. And we all have a tomb. And we can all escape them. So, with all that being said, this is your invitation. It's not about a following. It's not about what you can do for me. It's not about how much you even support me. This is about me wanting to make you feel like you belong. This is about me wanting to make you feel included. Wanting to make you feel like you're worth it. Like you can be yourself and be successful. So I'm inviting you. Join the Cadoomed family. Connect with others who build, create, and elevate. Consume the content. Be a part of the community. Help build the future. And leave your mark. The door is open. Walk through it proudly. We're building something that lasts. So, the Triangle files are over. Phase 1 is over. But the journey isn't. Over the next few weeks, I'll be putting the finishing touches on all of the Phase 2 plans, and we'll slowly start to roll them out. In the meantime, the next couple weeks we'll have some static files. They've been exploding lately. Now that the realizations are coming to light, there's so much more the static wants to talk about. And it's perfect timing with what I need to finish. Again, the accountability comes into play, because most of the business side is handled. But personal life, well, that can mess up anybody at any time. And we all know how rough it can get. So until next week, keep it twisted, escape your tomb, and have a great night.